Let's start with a question. What if a single glass of water mixed with just half a teaspoon of baking soda could change how your body feels? I had seen hundreds of videos and posts online claiming that drinking baking soda water before bed could do wonders, from helping digestion and balancing pH, to even improving sleep and energy. But the scientist in me wasn't satisfied with stories alone. So, I decided to find out. Not through rumors, but through research. For 2 weeks, I drank 1 glass of baking soda water at night and tracked everything. How I felt, what changed, and what science actually says about it. Before we go deeper, a small disclaimer. This podcast is for educational purposes only. Baking soda is powerful, and while it has genuine benefits, it also carries real risks if misused. Always check with your doctor first. 2. What is baking soda really? Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, is one of those simple white powders that hides a powerful secret. Chemically, it's a compound made of sodium, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, NiHO3. When you add it to dough, it releases carbon dioxide and makes the bread rise. But inside your body, it does something very different. It acts as a natural buffer, balancing acidity by neutralizing excess stomach acid. Historically, it's been used for generations as a home remedy for heartburn and stomach upset. Even hospitals use it in emergency medicine, for example, to treat metabolic acidosis when the body becomes too acidic. It's not magic, it's chemistry at work. And that's exactly what made me curious. 3. The science of how it works inside you. Let's simplify the science. When baking soda mixes with stomach acid, hydrochloric acid, it forms water, salt, and carbon dioxide gas. That's why you may burp after drinking it. That's the CO2 escaping. But here's the fascinating part. Sodium bicarbonate doesn't just stop at the stomach. Researchers found that it affects other systems too. In muscles, it acts as a buffer during intense exercise, reducing the burning sensation caused by lactic acid buildup. That's why some athletes use it before high-intensity training. In the immune system, scientists at the Journal of Immunology, Ray et al., 2018, discovered that sodium bicarbonate can signal the spleen to calm down inflammation, activating what's called the anti-inflammatory reflex. In the kidneys, it helps neutralize acid buildup, which is why doctors sometimes prescribe bicarbonate tablets to patients with chronic kidney disease, as shown in BMJ Open Gastroenterology and PubMed clinical trials. So, this tiny spoonful of powder can influence digestion, recovery, and inflammation, but the effects depend heavily on dosage and timing. 4. Drinking it at night. Why timing matters. Now, why at night? Most people eat their heaviest meal in the evening, often spicy or acidic food. That's when stomach acid is at its peak, and reflux symptoms can appear as soon as you lie down. A small amount of baking soda water before bed can neutralize that excess acid temporarily. The relief is real, and studies confirm it. But the key word is temporarily. Here's what I experienced. Drinking it right before lying down actually made me feel slightly bloated at first. That's because of the gas formation, CO2. But when I drank it about 1 hour after dinner, the effect was much smoother. Less bloating, lighter digestion, and no heartburn during sleep. So, timing matters. It's not about the night magic. It's about understanding when your stomach is most acidic. 5. Claimed benefits versus real science. There are hundreds of videos, reels, and blog posts claiming that baking soda water is a miracle tonic. People say it improves digestion, heals kidneys, boosts energy, melts fat, even reduces inflammation. But instead of believing what influencers say, let's separate claims from chemistry and see what science really says about each benefit. Better digestion and less heartburn. The most common claim. Let's start with the one nearly everyone talks about: digestion and heartburn relief. If you've ever eaten something spicy or oily and felt that burning sensation rising up your throat, that's acid reflux. It happens when stomach acid flows back into the esophagus. Now, when you mix baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, with that acid, it creates a chemical reaction. HCl, stomach acid, plus NH3, baking soda. NaCl, salt, plus CO2 gas, plus H2O, water. That burp you feel after drinking it, that's the carbon dioxide escaping. And that instant cooling relief in your chest, that's the acid being neutralized. So yes, the relief is real. And chemistry backs it up. In fact, some medical sources like BMJ Open Gastroenterology and Harvard Health confirm that sodium bicarbonate solutions can temporarily relieve mild heartburn. But here's the catch. It's short-term, not a cure. When you use it too often, your stomach starts to depend on it. Over time, it can reduce your stomach's natural acidity so much that digestion slows down. And as soon as you stop, the stomach produces even more acid to compensate. A phenomenon known as rebound acidity. So if you take it occasionally after heavy or spicy meals, fine. But using it every single night? That's when a helpful reaction becomes a harmful habit. Kidney health. A real medical application. This one is surprising to many people. Baking soda actually has clinical use in medicine, but only under doctor supervision. Let's rewind to a 2009 study published by DeBrito Ashurst et al., and later supported by research in PubMed and BMJ Open Gastroenterology. Doctors gave sodium bicarbonate supplements to patients with chronic kidney disease, CKD. People whose kidneys were struggling to filter acid out of their blood. The result? The bicarbonate helped neutralize acid buildup in the blood, reducing kidney workload. Over months, patients showed slower disease progression, improved muscle mass, and better overall nutrition. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the critical difference. These patients were under strict medical observation. The dosage, timing, and sodium balance were carefully controlled. If a healthy person without kidney issues tries to copy this at home, the extra sodium could actually strain their kidneys or raise blood pressure. So yes, baking soda helps the kidneys, but only when the kidneys are diseased and when prescribed by a doctor. It's medicine in that context, not a DIY wellness hack. Athletic recovery, backed by real science. This is one of the most interesting and science-backed effects of sodium bicarbonate. Its role in physical performance. When we exercise intensely, sprinting, cycling, or lifting, our muscles produce lactic acid, which causes that familiar burning and fatigue. Baking soda works as a buffer. It helps neutralize the excess acid inside the muscles, letting you push a little harder and recover faster. A 2018 meta-analysis published on the Wiley Online Library reviewed dozens of studies. It found that athletes who consumed 0.2 to 0.3 grams of sodium bicarbonate per kilogram of body weight about 1 to 2 hours before training performed better in short, high-intensity exercises. For example, a 70 kilograms person would take around 14 to 21 grams. Quite a lot, but under supervision. However, here's the twist. At those doses, many participants also experienced nausea, bloating, or diarrhea. So while the performance gains were real, so were the stomach problems. For everyday people, a light version, a small spoon at night, won't reproduce those athletic benefits, but it may help reduce post-exercise soreness slightly due to the same acid buffering mechanism. So if you ever feel your muscles ache after a workout, and you're medically fine with sodium, this could be a mild recovery trick. Just don't expect athlete-level results. Inflammation reduction, the hidden immune connection. Now we come to the most fascinating discovery, and probably the least known. This one doesn't just involve your stomach or muscles. It involves your immune system. In 2018, scientists publishing in the Journal of Immunology and later in Frontiers in Immunology found something groundbreaking. They discovered that when mice, and later humans, consumed sodium bicarbonate water, it activated a special pathway in the spleen, a key immune organ. This pathway, called the cholinergic anti-inflammatory reflex, signals the body to produce more M2 macrophages, the calm-down cells that reduce inflammation, and fewer M1 macrophages, the attack cells that trigger inflammation. In simpler terms, drinking baking soda may tell your immune system to relax when it's being too aggressive. Imagine your immune system like an army. Normally, it fights infections, but sometimes it overreacts, attacking healthy tissues and causing inflammation. Sodium bicarbonate seems to whisper to that army, "Hey, it's okay. Stand down. No need to overreact." Early human trials showed small reductions in inflammatory markers, suggesting it might help conditions like mild autoimmunity or chronic low-grade inflammation. But this research is still in its infancy. Scientists emphasize, it's promising, but not yet ready to be a prescribed treatment. Still, this discovery gives baking soda a whole new dimension, not just as an antacid, but as a potential immune modulator. 6. My 2-week journey. What I felt. Let me take you through exactly what happened when I actually started drinking baking soda water at night. Day by day, feeling by feeling, I promised myself I would stay honest, no filters, no exaggeration, and keep notes every single night. So here's what really happened. Days 1 to 3. The start of the experiment. The first evening felt almost like a mini science project. I carefully measured half a teaspoon of baking soda and mixed it into a tall glass of room temperature water. The fizzing sound was strangely satisfying, tiny bubbles rising, a soft hiss like it was alive. When I took the first sip, it tasted, well, exactly like you'd imagine. Slightly salty, slightly soapy, not delicious but tolerable. That night, about 20 minutes later, I started burping. Not in a bad way. Just gentle releases of gas as the carbon dioxide formed inside my stomach. That's chemistry in action. The baking soda meeting stomach acid and neutralizing it. Usually, when I eat something spicy or greasy at dinner, I feel that burning in my chest when I lie down. But that night, nothing. Just quiet. No acid taste, no tightness. By the third night, I noticed a pattern. Every time I drank it, the burping decreased and my stomach felt calmer. I even slept deeper. Maybe because I wasn't tossing around from reflux. It wasn't magic. It was acid-base balance happening right inside me. Days 4 to 5. Digestion finds its rhythm. By day 4, my body had adjusted to this little ritual. Dinner, a short walk, then my glass of baking soda water. The heaviness I usually felt after meals, that post-dinner bloat, was gone. It felt like my digestion had found a rhythm. Science explains it simply. When excess acid is neutralized, the stomach environment becomes more stable, allowing enzymes to work smoothly. On day 5, I remember waking up feeling unusually light. My stomach wasn't gurgling, there was no morning acidity, and I felt genuinely refreshed. That's when I started to think, maybe this really works. Days 6 to 7, sleeping easier. The weekend hit, and I noticed something new. Normally, after a late dinner or dessert, I'd wake up at midnight with a sour taste in my throat. Classic acid reflux. But now, I was sleeping peacefully through the night. I didn't realize until later that this is exactly what researchers found in BMJ open gastroenterology. That mild sodium bicarbonate use can temporarily relieve nighttime reflux. Still, I kept the dose the same, 1/2 teaspoon only. No more, no less. I wanted consistency, so the results would be real. By the end of the first week, I could confidently say, my digestion was better, my sleep was calmer, and my energy in the morning felt smoother. Days 8 to 10, the surprising physical change. The second week began with something unexpected: hydration. I started noticing that my body felt more balanced after workouts. Usually, when I train in the evenings, my muscles feel tight and heavy the next day. But during these days, that soreness was milder. That's not just placebo, it's science. Sodium bicarbonate acts as a buffer against lactic acid. By reducing the buildup of acidity inside muscles, it can improve recovery and endurance. That's why some athletes use it as a pre-workout supplement, though in much higher doctor-monitored doses. On day 9, I remember coming home from a workout, sipping the same glass after dinner, and feeling that gentle relaxation spread through my body. It felt like the tension was leaving my muscles. Also, my water intake naturally increased because the drink made me slightly thirsty. Another reason why I felt more hydrated. Days 11 to 12, the balance point. Around day 11, I started to notice that my body had fully adjusted. There were no more burps, no bloating, just a feeling of equilibrium. My skin even looked a little better, likely from staying hydrated and maintaining proper pH levels in digestion. It's funny how something as simple as digestion affects your entire system. Mood, skin, sleep, and even focus. When your gut feels good, your day feels lighter. I also began paying attention to my meals. Spicy food no longer scared me, but I stayed disciplined. Never took the drink twice a day. Never added more than half a teaspoon. At this point, I could see that moderation was key. Too little does nothing. Too much might cause trouble. Day 13. The lesson night. Then came the night of the lesson. It was a long day. I skipped lunch, and at dinner, I was starving. I ate a heavy, oily meal and thought, let's add a little extra baking soda tonight, just to be safe. Bad idea. I added an extra half teaspoon, making it a full teaspoon total. It tasted saltier, but I didn't think much of it. About 30 minutes later, I started feeling uneasy, bloated, a bit dizzy, and my fingers felt swollen. That was sodium overload and CO2 overproduction at work. I woke up at 3 a.m. with mild nausea and thirst. It wasn't dangerous, but it was a clear reminder that more is not better. That's when I truly understood why doctors emphasize dosage discipline. Even something natural like baking soda has limits. Day 14. The reflection. The final day felt peaceful. I went back to my regular half teaspoon dose, and it felt just right. Smooth digestion, calm stomach, steady energy. That morning, I looked back at my notes and realized I had learned more than I expected. Not just about baking soda, but about how sensitive and intelligent our bodies are. 2 weeks of one simple change taught me that balance matters more than any quick fix. Whether it's acid, food, or life itself, moderation keeps everything in harmony. 7. The hidden dangers, what you must know. Up to this point, the story sounds refreshing. Smoother digestion, lighter sleep, maybe even faster recovery. But now it's time for the part that most people skip. The risks. Because here's the truth. Even natural substances can hurt you if you use them the wrong way. And baking soda is a perfect example of that. When you look at it, it's just a simple white powder sitting quietly in your kitchen shelf. But inside your body, it's a strong chemical compound, sodium bicarbonate, an alkaline salt that can quickly shift the chemistry of your blood if you overdo it. Let's break down what can really go wrong, and why. High sodium, the silent pressure builder. Each half teaspoon of baking soda contains roughly 630 milligrams of sodium, almost a third of what doctors recommend for an entire day if you have high blood pressure. Now imagine taking that every night, thinking it's harmless. Within a few days, that sodium starts to add up. Here's what happens. Sodium pulls water into your bloodstream, which increases the volume of blood. More volume means more pressure on artery walls, and that pressure forces your heart to work harder. The result? Elevated blood pressure, swelling in fingers or feet, and that heavy tight ring feeling. This isn't theory. Cardiologists have documented sodium-related fluid retention from daily baking soda use. So while 1 glass might help your stomach, 10 glasses could quietly stress your heart. Metabolic alkalosis. When the balance flips too far, your body is a master chemist. It keeps your blood pH between 7.35 and 7.45, a very narrow range. Go even a little higher than that, and things start to malfunction. Overusing baking soda can make your body too alkaline, a condition called metabolic alkalosis. It's rare, but when it happens, it's serious. Here's what it feels like: constant nausea or even vomiting, muscle twitching or hand tremors, dizziness, confusion, and in extreme cases, irregular heartbeat. Medical journals like BMJ Case Reports and PubMed describe real emergencies where people ended up hospitalized after consuming several tablespoons of baking soda daily, often in an attempt to detox or cure reflux. The reason? Too much bicarbonate removed too much acid from the blood, flipping the internal chemistry. It's the same principle that makes baking soda powerful, but it works both ways. So remember, the dose that heals is often very close to the dose that harms. Medication interactions. When chemistry clashes. Another hidden danger most people never consider. Drug interactions. If you're on medications like diuretics, ACE inhibitors, or blood pressure pills, baking soda can throw your electrolyte levels off balance. It can cause low potassium, excess sodium, or even reduce how well your medicine works. People with kidney or heart conditions are especially at risk because their bodies already struggle to control sodium and water balance. Think of it like adding another variable to an already complicated equation. Your body can get confused quickly. That's why doctors specifically warn: never mix home alkalizing drinks with prescription medication unless approved by a physician. Not for everyone. Know who should avoid it. Some people's bodies simply can't handle the extra sodium load. If you fall into any of these categories, baking soda water should stay off your menu unless your doctor prescribes it. People with high blood pressure or heart failure, anyone with chronic kidney disease, pregnant women, because fluid retention can rise easily, individuals on low-sodium diets or diuretics, children. Their pH balance is more fragile. Even if you're perfectly healthy, taking it every single day for months isn't recommended. Your stomach acid exists for a reason: to digest food and kill harmful bacteria. Neutralize it too often, and you may invite other issues like poor nutrient absorption and bloating from undigested food. Final reminder: natural doesn't mean harmless. In wellness culture, we often hear, "It's natural, so it must be safe." But remember, snake venom is natural too. Baking soda isn't evil, but it's powerful. Treat it with respect. Used occasionally, it can soothe acid, help digestion, or even support recovery. Used excessively, it can throw your entire chemistry off balance. The safest approach? Less, monitored, and mindful, because sometimes good health isn't about adding more. It's about knowing when to stop. 8. The right way to try it. If your doctor clears you and you want to try it safely, use 1/2 teaspoon baking soda in a full glass of water, 250 milliliters. Drink it 1 to 2 hours after dinner, not immediately before sleeping. Start only 3 times a week, not daily. Use glass or wooden spoons, not metal. Watch your body. If you feel bloated, skip a day. It's better to treat it as an occasional support rather than a daily routine. 9. Myths you must stop believing. Now, before we wrap up, let's clear up a few of the biggest myths that have been floating around the internet about baking soda water. Because honestly, this is where most people get misled. The first myth is the most common. Baking soda detoxes your body. That sounds fancy and natural, but it's completely false. Your body already has two of the most powerful detox systems in the universe. Your liver and your kidneys. They work 24/7, filtering toxins, breaking down chemicals, and maintaining balance. No single drink, not lemon water, not green juice, and definitely not baking soda, can wash away toxins. In fact, if a substance could truly flush out your organs that fast, it would probably damage them. Baking soda supports digestion, yes, but it's not a detox miracle. The second myth. It burns fat. Nope. There is zero scientific evidence that sodium bicarbonate directly affects fat metabolism or weight loss. Some people notice slight weight changes when they drink it regularly, but that's mostly water retention or reduced bloating, not fat loss. The only way to burn fat is still the boring but true combination of calorie balance, physical activity, and consistent nutrition. Baking soda might make you feel lighter, but it doesn't melt fat. And the third myth, the most dangerous one, is the claim that baking soda changes your blood pH. Let's make this crystal clear. That's impossible without causing serious harm. Your body is designed to keep blood pH within a very tight range, roughly 7.35 to 7.45. Even a tiny shift outside that range can be life-threatening. Drinking baking soda might slightly reduce stomach acidity or buffer lactic acid in muscles, but it cannot and should not change your blood chemistry. If it could, hospitals wouldn't need intensive treatments for pH imbalance. Everyone would just drink soda water. So here's the truth. Baking soda isn't a detoxer, it isn't a fat burner, and it definitely isn't a blood alkalizer. What it can do, when used properly and occasionally, is give temporary relief from excess stomach acid, and in some cases, help reduce muscle fatigue by buffering lactic acid. That's it. Real, simple, and science-backed. The internet loves to exaggerate, but your body runs on balance, not shortcuts. So enjoy the real benefits, forget the myths, and always respect what your body already knows how to do perfectly on its own. 10. Final thoughts. After 2 full weeks of this little experiment, I realized something powerful. It's never really about the baking soda itself. It's about what it teaches you about your body. We often chase big results, detox miracles, overnight transformations, one drink that changes everything. But the truth? Your body doesn't need magic. It just needs balance. When I started, I thought I was testing a trend, but I ended up learning about how delicate and intelligent our inner chemistry really is. Just a small change, a pinch of sodium bicarbonate, reminded me how even tiny chemical reactions can shift how you feel, sleep, digest, and recover. Science supports some of these effects, like easing acid reflux by neutralizing stomach acid, improving workout recovery through lactic acid buffering, and even calming inflammation by signaling your immune system to relax. But all those benefits exist within limits, because the same substance that helps your stomach can harm your heart if you cross that line. The same drink that helps recovery can disturb your body's natural pH if abused. And that's what makes this experiment a lesson. Not about baking soda, but about balance. Yes, after 14 nights, I did feel lighter, less acidic, and more refreshed. My sleep was better, and my digestion felt smoother. But I also learned the cost of just a little extra. That one night I overdosed out of curiosity and ended up nauseous. It taught me that health isn't about doing more, it's about doing what's right, in moderation. So, if you decide to try this for yourself, do it smartly, safely, and scientifically. Don't follow trends. Follow evidence. Don't look for a miracle. Look for understanding. And most importantly, listen to your body. It's always giving you signals. You just have to pay attention. Your body's real power doesn't come from powders, drinks, or secret recipes. It comes from hydration, mindful eating, quality sleep, and patience. And that's the message I want to leave you with today. Small, consistent habits create real, lasting health. Thank you for tuning in and joining me on this 2-week journey. If you love science-backed health experiments, the kind that separate myths from real facts, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share this video with someone who loves exploring home remedies that actually work, with real research behind them. Until next time, stay curious, stay balanced, and stay healthy.